Hello everyone, welcome to episode 161 of Floating Through Film. This week we are doing an FTF Blindspots.
You kind of forgot it for a second.
This is actually a true FTF Blindspots, because usually we were confusing, we're like, oh, two people hadn't seen them, and the other person had. But now this is like, it kind of makes sense. This is a blind spot for the podcast.
Yeah, well, depends. Well, define what you mean by that.
And the blind spots are two directors we haven't done on the podcast specifically. Yeah. So I feel like this is a good way for us to kind of broaden our range of just like directors that, you know,
we haven't gotten to.
And we'll probably never do, especially one of these.
Damn.
Wait, what?
Damn.
Especially, we'll probably never do. Directors that we'll probably never do, especially for one of these. And then for some directors, we're kind of dipping their toe to like hints that we'll do in the future. And that's both of these, I feel like. Because I feel like Renoir we'll do at some point, maybe.
Hopefully,
like,
yeah. Or
he might just be that kind of like John Fordish, like all of us kind of like beard. I don't know about Blake as much, but me and you like beard. Like he's just below the cutoff of ever picking him.
Yeah.
Is it because he has too many movies? Or is
he
he have a
doesn't have
lot?
that many.
I think I could see myself picking John Ford.
Alright. We'll see. I have doubts about that.
But even then, if I do pick John Ford, there's still like some movies.
Oh, he has. Yeah, you're just gonna miss so many.
Yeah.
But but anyway, this is Blind Spot. So two directors we've never done on the podcast: Renoir and Jerry Lewis. But okay, so this kind of started mainly because we're doing the Southerner first. We can start with that one.
Yeah.
The reason why I wanted to do the Southerner was because I've already said this, that for my next pick, the series coming up next is Satyajit Ray, and we're doing actually, I don't know if we're doing all three Apu movies, Apu trilogy movies, or maybe just two of them or something. I don't know.
Oh, like self-decided.
Yeah, because I feel like three is a lot, but then it's like almost kind of insane not to do three. But
I mean, you could do like
all just one.
You could just do like three in one episode.
Maybe we could do that. That'd be a lot.
Yeah, but like I mean,
or I might just do two one week and then one the next week with something else. I don't know.
I don't know about that. Yeah.
Maybe just do all three and then
He's got a lot of movies.
Kind of just not talk about them in depth as much each one.
Yeah.
Maybe probably do something like that. Because they are kind of like just one whole, but that was off topic. Anyway, I haven't decided yet. So anyway, we're doing but the Apu trilogy is important with this movie because Ray has talked about specifically like as Renoir being one of the make sure I'm recording. Okay, yeah, being one of the like influences of on his filmmaking, on like why he got started. And I'll talk more about that on the Ray series, but we'll stick more with the Southerner. And I just wanted to read one quote from Satyajit Ray said, where he says, quote, "I think Renoir's The Southerner had a great influence on my conception of Pather Panchali." So obviously, The Southerner is on my mind.
That, yeah.
And so we're definitely doing Pather Panchali. Like, that'll be the first movie we're doing, obviously, because it's Ray's first movie.
Yeah.
And have you guys both seen that?
Yeah.
No, actually, I've seen that.
Probably a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while.
But I do see what he's saying.
So yeah, I'll talk more about the Ray influence later, but that's why I'm doing the Southerner now, because I've done these on series in the past where I'll pick a kind of a prequel movie for the director.
Yeah.
And now this is kind of a way to do that without getting in the series. So, this is my 11th movie.
This is
my 11th. And we invented a whole new series category in a way, I feel like.
It's kind of the same.
It's a better version.
Name.
It's a better version with the same name, I think.
They're both,
but we can do both.
Their own way.
We can still
They're
do
both great in their own way.
We can still do both, and just
we don't need to put them against each other.
Yes, we do.
Damn.
We're doing these two movies, but we have to pick one at the end.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
But yeah, honestly, okay, because do you guys know who James Ivory is?
Yeah.
He's like kind of a. I've never seen any of his movies, but he was like a British director.
Yes, like the A Room with the View, or no, right? No, I know one. I know there's one of his movies that has like a fire. It is called A Room with a View. Yeah, because it's like it has a fire. The header on Letterboxd is like I like the green in it. I just remember like saying that.
No, I've seen some of his movies. I've never seen any of his. But Ray actually did some of his soundtracks, or one of them, I forgot.
Yeah.
And so there's this quote. I have to read this. So James Ivory, on coming to India, when asked if he came to India looking for Ray because he had seen Renoir, and then because someone had asked him if he had come to India, basically what I just said, and then he said, "I went looking for Renoir because I had seen Ray." And like that's basically my that's how I got into Renoir, basically, is through Ray, because Ray is like basically one of the first filmmakers I kind of really like studied or whatever.
Oh,
like,
that's really how you discovered Renoir.
Yeah, it's like basically yeah.
I think I watched Ray. I think I may have probably watched Ray first, but I don't think I connected the two. But the only reason I watched Ray before him is because you liked him.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
No, I just thought that was great because I was like, this is a very similar reason why I love Renoir too now. And especially these two movies, I just stick more with the Southerner side now. Like just with the family aspect, where you see like all these different like kind of generational family, like each generation has their own like the way they're interacting, you know, like from the kids through the like kind of two parents and also the older lady too, who's like also kind of important. We'll see like a lot of similarities with that in Pata Panchali.
Yeah.
So I can definitely see that influence, but I don't know, what do you guys think about the Southerner?
I mean, I definitely liked it. I just don't know how I have a ton to say right now because like, especially compared to Renoir's other movies, like that's why I'm interested in seeing like what you have to say about it. Like it's interesting seeing him work against like the back because it's like this is a Hollywood film, is it not? It's or at least made in the Hollywood system.
Yes.
So it's kind of interesting seeing because I don't think I've seen a Renoir film from the Hollywood system because I know we made a few.
And there definitely are some more Hollywoodish aspects.
Yes, that's what it's like interesting. Like,
maybe a little more melodrama. There's like a fight scene where I'm like,
like the knife. Yeah, the knives out.
But even then, like
it's like barely part of the movie.
Yes.
Yeah, no,
that's
the
bigger point.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, because I've heard the story of like him like the reason why A Day in the Country is like unfinished is because he like left to go to Hollywood while he was like making it. But no, I really liked it. Like it was kind of interesting because it's kind of like a neorealist kind of film made in America like before, or actually it was during the neorealist kind of like where neorealism was like really popular, I guess. And then I also really liked and I really liked the ending too. Like it's kind of a really nice ending, like the kind of like overcoming the seeing that pick up.
I'm kind of like mixed, but I think that's part. I think that's part of the ending though. It's like it's supposed to be kind of a.
Yeah. I thought it was a sweet ending. I don't know.
So what do you think is like the Hollywood aspects then?
Well, I mean, just like the fact that it's in English is a big one. Like that for a noir film.
Honestly, I kind of like it though.
No. But no, like some of the characters.
Maybe acting too. Like
acting is a big one. Yeah. No, yeah. Maybe some of the locations, but. No, it's an interesting film for sure.
I think it feels like Hollywood, but it's also like nothing like Hollywood at all, honestly. Like because it's just the day in the life of a farmer, and that's what I really like about it. Because like it has these like Hollywood feelings to it, like but. I was literally asking myself halfway through this movie, I'm like, what is this movie about?
Yes.
Because
I think that's the main difference.
Like that's the main difference to me is it's just like, it's got these Hollywood trappings, but it's not about anything Hollywood ever wants it to be about. It's like, it's just like 100%. This day in the life of a farmer. Actually, and I kind of love that. But
you can keep going, but I want to because I know Luke has read this Bazin book on Renoir.
Yeah,
the small kind of book he wrote. And I have like a couple quotes that I went back and like looked at some of the highlights I had from the book, and one of them is like basically the theme of this podcast, at least for me, is like just like Bazin at his best talking about, and it kind of is basically touching on exactly what Blake said. So he says, "quote For Renoir, what is important is not the dramatic value of a scene, drama, action, the theatrical or novelistic sense of the terms, or for him only pretext for the essential, and the essential is everywhere in what is visible, everywhere in the very substance of the cinema." And like to me, that's the like Blake said, it's like the trappings of a Hollywood movie, which is like what we're saying. Some of those more elements, like even like a fight scene, which I feel like would never be in like one of his French movies and stuff.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. Maybe it like the he would have a fight scene, but it would be like feel like more like a comedy instead of like a. But still, for the most part, it feels like you're halfway through the movie and you're like, all we've seen is just like these daily life of a farmer, and like they have dramatic moments and stuff, which are the more Hollywood aspects. But still, like. It doesn't have and now they're trying to reach this ending. Like it doesn't have this like kind of this like overt meaning in it, like a Hollywood movie would have in. You know what I mean? Where it's more like we're kind of just seeing these like daily moments.
Because we have seen movies like this where it's beating you over the head with the family value shit.
Yes.
And this one definitely doesn't.
It actually makes you think about opposing sides and stuff.
I thought the old lady was annoying at the beginning, but she grew on me at the end.
Exactly. No, she has like a really good moment too, where she's like, where she like actually, I think that's what makes this movie great. Where and we'll talk about this with Plot the Punchali too. Is like all the characters like, and Renoir and Ray both have this like very similar theme of their movies. Is like none of their there's no heroes and villains in their movies. It's just like humans.
Yeah.
And so like you can not like a person, but then they could do something, and then you could like them again. You know, it's not like a evil person in a movie where like once someone's evil, they're always evil. You know, or once something's good, they're always good. It's like these are just humans where, you know, their actions based on what's going on in the movie like makes them like them or not like them more or less. But it's like different than how we watch a lot of Hollywood movies where it's like these clear lines of good and evil that we're supposed to be rooting for. But yeah, no, I really like the. I don't know. I like the main guy too. He's kind of got a nice face. Like,
he does.
He's got a. Like, and this is the thing. I don't know if Renoir's trying to do this or not, but with the like kind of, I guess the most evil character in the movie is the neighbor, and like the neighbor's like kind of son. Those two characters, but there's still something to it where it's like. Renoir never says it, but I almost kind of agree with the neighbor in a certain way in terms of like, I don't know if this guy's gonna make it, you know, like especially like risking his family and stuff. And like he just, I don't know if you guys agree with me or not, but because even the way the movie ends, it's like there's not necessarily like any like true reason he should have more hope. You know, it's just like the idea of hope itself is what's keeping it going. But it's like, was there anything in the movie that should like, oh, he got a new tractor or something? There's nothing like that. You know, just like they recovered, but
it's like Sisyphus, like
I like the neighbor. I like the neighbor because it's like he doesn't offer any help at all, which is not very neighborly. Especially like I think the main character even says that, but he's the older version of this guy that succeeds. I guess you could say he just.
Well, do you think so? In terms, do you think this guy, if he succeeds when he's older, will be just as crotchety and like not helping?
It depends on what happens to him. Because I don't know. He has one of the better. The neighbor has one of the better scenes in the movie. Whenever he tells him what it took him like to actually make it, to like actually get a successful farm. Mm-hmm. Like he said, it cost him the life of his wife and his child, and that's what it took him to like make it. So that's I kind of like him not helping because like you could like he did himself is what it's at least implied in this movie.
Yeah.
So it's just like.
Or that's how he sees it to
himself. That's how he sees it to himself,
Which is like, we never actually get...
Yeah, we never get the
Well, actually, in a way, we know he's not doing it by himself, because he has these two kids that are helping him, especially that girl, too.
Yeah.
Who's actually supposed to be the helpful
one. The nice one.
Yeah, who's the nice one. No, I think that's a good point. Like, there is something, too, like... That's why I'm like, Renoir's, like, not judging any of these characters. Even where I'm like... I think he might be saying this guy actually might not be cut out to be doing what he's doing, and we're just watching him fail, but, like... He's got, like, kind of a hopeness to him, to where he's, like... Renoir's kind of likes that, you know? Yeah. And this kind of, like, guy who's, like, more, like, rigid and, like, more firm and evil in a certain way, like, that's why he made it, you know? Which is why this guy is, like, might not make it. But that's how I'm reading it, in a way. Yeah. Especially how, like, I just see this guy's face, and he just looks so nice compared to, like, you know, the neighbor where he's, like, he looks so, like, grizzled and, like, a veteran and stuff. So it's, like, maybe you have to be like that to make it out here.
He kind of looks like Anthony Quinn, too. Or am I thinking this wrong person?
Anthony Quinn? Which guy are you talking about?
I think it's a neighbor. I think it's a neighbor.
No, which guy? Who's Anthony Quinn?
The guy from La Strada. The Zampo from La Strada.
Oh. Okay, I can see that kind of face.
Yeah.
Maybe not the exact look, but yes, it's that type of, like, very hardened face, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but there's even what you're saying, like, Renoir has that quote in Rules of the Game. There's that quote that says, like, everyone has their reasons. I thought that's a great way to describe
honestly,
kind of like Renoir's take on that.
Yes. That's actually a good...
but I think, like, in Rules of the Game, there's a quote, too, where they kind of, like, at the end, he's like, it's like everyone's... But that's the tragedy, that everyone has their reasons. Like, that's, like... It's like, it's not just, like, a... It's not just, like, a excuse that, like... excuses that. It's like actually like it also is a bad thing in a way,
and that's why it's like to me it's like it's just a statement of fact. Like that's why I'm like when I say like presentational cinema in a way is like and we'll talk about this more next week with we're trying something new for our next week episode with the Bazin essay. But this idea of like cinema as being a thing of like just present something in front of us and then you read it later, you know, as a viewer. At least that's the filmmaker's trying to do something like that. So where like you mentioned that quote of sorry, what was the exact quote? That you just mentioned.
Everyone has their reasons.
Yeah, everyone has their reasons.
Yeah.
It's just like especially when I think of like Renoir's films of like these different characters, like usually maybe an upper class society, but all these different social dynamics going on. He's usually not judging anyone. He's just saying like we're watching this like unfold. Like everyone has their reasons, you know. Yeah. Like especially the rules of the game. Even the camera is like following that to like such a degree, you know, where it like moves around and everything. I think Ray also has a very like I was talking this like I kind of hate the word humanism, but like I guess it's that kind of more human-centered approach to like filmmaking, you know, where it's like the camera kind of just believes in that, you know, everyone has their reasons without, and you're like we're not trying to overly judge or anything. Ray's a little more, I think he's a little more I guess I would say classical or a little more like sensual. I don't know, he's a little less detached, I feel like, than Renoir is sometimes. But it's been a while actually since I've watched Ray, so that's partly why I'm picking him too. Is like go back. That's actually why I picked a lot of the directors. Is to kind of go back after not watching them for a while. But I think we can go ahead and start in the Southern. Do you guys remember how it starts? Let's see. Oh yeah, actually it starts with, we talked about this last week. You were talking about with VeggieTales the detachment thing. Yeah. This also has a story.
It's a crazy opening. Yeah, you're talking about
this one. Renoir's are a lot more like he's doing them for a reason, and I was trying to think about why he was started because this narrator is actually not a main character in the movie.
No, yeah.
But he's actually kind of a main character in terms of like what he represents. He represents like the city, like the kind of like the kind of life that would have paid this family guy, this main character more money and give him a safer life. You know, and that's kind of like almost perspective.
Is the narrator not the fat guy?
He is. He's the guy who's like offering that factory job. In the city or whatever. And he's like, you can get paid like $8 an hour. Oh, I forgot what $8 a day.
$7 a day.
$7 a day, which is like holy shit. Like it's like changes when he hears that.
It's like $7 a day.
Yeah. So basically, like that's why I was thinking more like that's why we get this narrator. Is like he's presenting it from like kind of a. I don't know, like, maybe you could say this is more Renoir himself, because he's, like, a city guy and stuff, like, but this idea of, like, he's, like, sympathetic towards his cousin, who's a country boy, basically, but, I don't know, like, I like the kind of, like, detachment that we get from this narrator, at least at the beginning. He's, like, showing us his family history and the family book and stuff, and then, I
think you could also read it a tad darker, maybe, because, like, the city boys obviously run the world now in America. Like my dad, he works at Tyson. Obviously, he even says how the issue nowadays with America is we don't have enough farmers. Like we literally just don't have enough private farmers to actually like keep up what we like to sustain what we need for our society now. But
so then you have to outsource a lot of it.
Yeah, so it's just like you could even say. That's just something that Renoir saw early just because like it's just like society that's obviously like was shifting at this time away from farming communities and into more just like progress obviously.
Yeah.
But
yes, exactly. This movie is definitely about that too. This kind of like at least the resistance from a certain type of person that is trying to resist that.
I love his reason, I guess you could say, for.
Oh well, I have the quote later. So. It's actually I love that. Yeah. I love that scene too. It's my favorite part of the movie. But yeah, like so we get these kind of opening shots of them picking cotton in the field, and then we basically watch like a guy die.
Yeah, literally.
This is where it's like this is where I love Renoir's movies too, where you get like so many emotions, but he finds a way to keep everything just like. On the same, I don't know, like it's still part of the same movie somehow, you know, where it's like, because like we get this funeral and then right away, like it's not like, but it's not like overly sad, you know. He does kind of go like about it pretty quickly.
Well, I mean,
it's like it's a funny ass cut, honestly, because it just cuts from the guy laying there with the dog to like you just hear like the little like rock hammer.
Yes, of them like because they can't even afford the stone.
Yeah, so it's just the cross or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a Bazin quote I really like. Where he says like that Renoir style is difficult to define because like the style seems to be like simultaneously expression of the greatest fantasy and the greatest realism. Because he's talking about La Chienne, which is like a fantastic Renoir film.
So where's the fantasy in this one then?
Well, I think it's kind of
I'm
what
not saying you're wrong.
No, I think it's kind of what you were saying with like it's like he almost like keeps the movie going in a way, or at least like has that like sort of like he doesn't like wallow in it, you know, like the funeral for too long. I think that's kind of
he doesn't wallow. I think that's a good way to put it. He doesn't wallow in anything. Like this is. I was thinking about this too, similar with like Ozu, because I said similar things about Ozu, where it's like it's a different level of kind of emotional. Like every director's different, like how they balance their emotions. I guess is the way I would put it. But it's like they have the same thing where they don't wallow in anything. Like something serious happens, and then like it's on to the next. You know, it's almost like so perfectly rhythmic with Ozu. Renoir's a little different, but. But like I said, so like we get this funeral and we think, oh, it might be a sad movie, you know, like, but it's like right away we're gonna see like a new life. He's like trying to build his new life, you know. In a way, you could say even he's like trying to get away from the situation he's in right now, where he's just like working for someone else, dying in someone else's field. Yeah. So like he talks to like basically learn that he has this plan to buy some of this old boss's land that he doesn't use, and the boss tells him. Boss tells him actually a very similar thing to where like the city boy narrator says, where he's like, if you're working for a big outfit, maybe you don't get rich, but you still get your pay, even if your crop is bad. But the little guy, if his crop is ruined, he's got nothing left. He's basically warning him like, you're taking a risk what you're doing. At least what like working for me, you'll be safe. You get a paycheck and stuff. You know. Yeah. Classic dilemma. But we also see a calendar turn. I like the way the calendar kind of like keeps us. The dates, like the way it'll cut to the calendar too. Like, there's one later I'll mention where it's like a live cut almost, where like the camera just, it's like during the scene and the camera just moves towards the camera, and they're like, and that's how we know it's like a new.
I'm trying to think of what other movies do that because I've definitely seen that before.
Oh yeah,
but I can't like put my finger.
It's usually a cut though. It'll be like a cut, and then it'll be like just like the calendar close up of the calendar.
Saw that in 1 week, for sure.
Oh yeah, every time.
But that was just a cut to the calendar every time. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get so then we get this like it's honestly one of the great like Renoir classic movies camera where they first enter the house and the grandma's like complaining.
No, yeah,
but I love this shot really cool. Too. It's just like
and like the narrator's talking.
Yeah, I just love how
it's them talking.
Oh, is it them talking? Okay, yeah.
I just love how the grandma's set up on the fucking car, man. Like Jesus Christ.
Yes.
She could fall off that shit. Like it's almost like they want her to fall off.
No, and I just love. I've just noticed I love when there's voiceover over like just shots of no one, of like no humans. I don't know. That just always does it to me. Like Sans Soleil. I talked about the Wind Across the Everglades too. Yeah. When they're like on the water. Yeah. And they're just like talking on voiceover. But like this one's great too because they're like talking about the problems of the house. But you know, the camera's just going through all the houses. And
oh my god, this guy needs to watch Marguerite Duras, bro. Okay. No, literally, that's like basically all our movies, basically. Like,
no, I love that shit too.
But like in a way, but also there'll be characters sometimes in it too. But like it'll be dialogue and it'll be two characters there, and it'll almost be like talking about them in a way. Okay. I'm trying to sell you right now.
No, I definitely need to watch it for sure.
Watch Indie Song.
Well, I guess we're using it.
Yeah, we are using the score for the last one. Yeah, it's a sign, Dany. Get back in movies, dog. Please.
But then,
the grandma refusing to come to the house is hilarious as shit, man.
But then, like, there's a storm. We also get, like, this is maybe the more, you could say, like, one of my lesser favorite parts of the movies is the wife. Because you mentioned Bazin as
I guess I'll explain it. Like, I went back to, last year I read, I guess I've already quoted it, but like the Bazin book on Renoir, which is a really good book. Or it's basically a collection of like his writings on it. But I think I'm pretty sure like basically all of Renoir's books are that. Mm-hmm. There's collections of writings, but so I went back to it to see what he said about this movie because this is one of like the lesser talked about Renoir's. Like it definitely isn't like talked about as much as like the other ones, and like all he had was a manuscript, and he was basically just like saying how he didn't really like it that much because like. He felt like he was like too compromised by Hollywood, and like he didn't believe it or something. I need to really quickly go back and see what he said about that. Wait, I have it up right here, I guess. But he thought the wife's actor wasn't really that good. He's like, he said like he found the conditions of life of the characters hard to accept without further explanation. But
I don't know if I agree with that.
I don't know if I agree with that.
well, he goes a bit more. He goes like, for example, where does the little girl go to school? Are they really unable to buy even half a quart of milk a day? Where are the other buildings on the farm, the stable, the barn? But perhaps this impression is a consequence of ignorance. If we were Americans, we would see no more problems in the Southerner than in Tony, where the improbabilities do not bother us French at all. So I don't really know.
See, I honestly think that he might be right on that, because whenever I was watching this, I was kind of shocked by how Renoir kind of captured the Southern lifestyle, honestly.
Yeah.
And the tendencies, especially between the generations, because, like, my grandma acts like this sometimes, obviously, where it's just, like, the world is against her. Like, everything. Yeah. Like, everything is against her, basically. Like, I don't know. I feel like he kind of just nails the relationships between everyone. Yeah. Which is kind of why I like that ending, too, because that's the Southern spirit, technically, is that ending of, like, staying together even whenever times get tough and pushing on for your dream, I guess. But
especially this kind of country dream.
Yeah, exactly.
Like individualistic, like you're fighting progress in a way. At least like this kind of you're not progress necessarily, but you're fighting the kind of like.
And it's probably just comes
trying to
from
force a way of life on you.
It probably just comes from like my grandparents' literal stories of my grandpa literally telling me that they couldn't afford shit like this. like they literally couldn't afford shit like this. Like all they had to eat was like livers and eggs and shit.
Mm. Yeah.
And they thankfully had a dairy cow. So, which as we can see in this movie matters a lot. Like having your own like dairy cow for your family.
Actually, that's a good part later on too. Honestly, I wish he had focused some of the more of the stuff, like the animal parts of it. But that's true with every movie.
That's true with every movie.
But there's like a great scene of like these like this great moment of when the family is like lighting this light together on the table.
Yeah,
I just love that moment. And then we're watching like kind of them all go to sleep and stuff.
Was this around the time where the rocking chair shot happened?
Yes, there's the great shot of her sitting. Yeah, that's when she finally agrees to come inside when it's storming.
Yes, yeah.
Because she's been refused to come into the house the whole time.
Yeah. Which I guess that's because like it starts raining too. Like I remember because like in Padre Panchali, there's also like the
we'll come back and reference a lot of maybe some of this movie when we watch that. Because like also with the old lady when Blake was saying that, it reminds me, Padre Panchali is like she's like probably the best character in the movie. It's her complaining it and stuff. But yeah, this one has also another great like kind of moment where like we're actually everyone's gone to sleep and we're watching the camera as the raindrops are hitting. The camera's like kind of like gliding through the house and it like lands in the mother and father like they're just smoking a cig together. Just like really like that's where like these great moments where it's just like that's it. You know, it's just like a moment that happens in this life. You know, it's not necessarily like. There are good moments and there are bad moments. Yeah. And the camera's just like they're capturing it almost like the same way, you know? Mm-hmm. But then we see like them go fishing the next day. And that's when they like meet.
Funny, like his fishing is like literally just catching the fish with his hands too.
That's true. I didn't even notice that. Yeah. No, yeah, that is true.
And the big ones for the neighbor.
He's a real fisherman.
He's a real fisherman.
He doesn't eat any of those like.
See, is that because he's a real fisherman, or is like I was saying, with,
he just doesn't have the.
He's not prepared.
Yeah,
you know, he's more all ideal and less like.
Because we see him use a fishing rod.
That's kind of what I was trying to reference with Renoir. Is like, is that how he sees this guy? You know, where he's like all ideal and not like necessarily like planned.
Because we see him use a fishing rod later, basically after he sees the neighbor making a fishing hook to catch the catfish and shit.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely more impressive to catch it.
Oh, it is more impressive to catch it with your
just
hands,
like harder.
Sure.
Yeah, I know. It's like
they're trying to live like they're trying to live like this. It's not a game, you know. It's one thing with a game. Like they literally don't have any food right now.
Literally.
Yeah. That's why he's having to go to this neighbor right now. So that's why.
Well, they don't even have water.
That's why he's going. Yeah, because like the well is still. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A lot of this stuff like. The way Renoir, it's almost like you have to read between the lines to really notice. Like this guy, like came to a place without any water. Like he had no plan for water. You know.
Well,
so
like whenever he came, one of the funniest quotes whenever they actually showed up is him going like, "Oh wow, this house is like way rougher than I thought it was."
Yes. Yes. And this is like you should know this shit before you move.
Yeah,
he
didn't check. You know? He didn't check the condition of the property at all. He literally said he just bought it for the land. Yes. He wasn't thinking too much about the property. So.
Yes. But he has like this conversation with the neighbor, and like the neighbor's like obviously like resistant, right? We can tell like this guy's gonna be like like I said, the Renoir doesn't have evil characters because we kind of even, like Blake said earlier at the beginning, like we even understand where this guy's coming from in a way if you want to. Like he's a hardened guy who doesn't want to help because he's felt like he's had no one help him. But like he finally comes to an understanding like this guy needs this well water at least until next year or whatever until they can fix the well.
What the condition is like they take turns repairing the well rope or something.
Yes. Like that's when this guy tells him he's like tells him about his own past and everything. And that's when he's like, I doubt you. He's like telling him like straight up, I don't think you're gonna be able to do it and shit. But then we see like I think we see I don't know if it's a calendar, but we see winter basically. I forgot how it says it. But yeah, it's I forgot like these are like more.
Oh no, yeah, it's a it's like he fades into a calendar where it has the picture of like the horse and like the people in the carriage. It like kind of zooms out. It's like winter, December.
Yeah, and there's basically like we're seeing them kind of more going through hard times.
The joy they have for eating a possum is insane. That's how you know how dumb bad they are.
Is that when they're like all waiting for him to come back with it?
No, possums are like
even if you cook it, like
possums are like they're garbage feeders. Like they eat shit on the side of the road and stuff. Like they have like parasites and shit. You're not supposed to eat them. It's like you're not supposed to eat like a raccoon also. Like just because they carry a lot of parasites and shit.
Oh yeah.
But we're basically watching like some of them like basically struggle through this winter, and I just wrote down some of my favorite moments of this. Like I don't have everything, and like one of them is like first, if Renoir casts these people not because they're acting, it's definitely because like their eyes, especially honestly both of them, especially in the scene where like we're kind of like watching the grandma complain while like the wife is like getting stuff ready and stuff, and like he frames it where like the guy's like behind her looking and the husband's looking at her and she's looking at the wife, and like it's just a great shot of, like where everyone's eyes are going, and then like this is kind of where you could say like Renoir gets like kind of poetic where he's just like so simple because the husband just takes I think it's her blanket from the grandma, and he gives it to the daughter so she can go to school, to build a coat to go to school. And, like, it makes sense, like, kind of logically in one way, but it's, like, it just has so many different meanings to it if you want to take it. Like, the older generation having to sacrifice for the new generation, And then also, like...
Unwillingly. No, I'm just
and then also this idea of, like... Yeah, unwillingly, exactly. But this idea of, like, something that's at home having to be, like, taken away so it can go away, to somewhere else. Like, I don't know, just, like, it is just so simple the way it happens, too. And she's, of course, like, really complaining about it and stuff. But it's just like another kind of example of like what like Blake said, what she's having to give up, and it's funny too. It's like all days and it's like really funny as you're watching it.
Yeah, she's because the mom is very like pissed at her because she's just like, would you rather your like granddaughter catch a life ending cold?
Yes.
She's like she's 7 and you're 70 or some shit. I don't remember exactly what she said, but she compared their ages.
But I do really feel bad for the grandma. Like this is true with people as older ages. Like they have like. They start to have less control over their life the same way as kids do. Like she's never asked whether they have to move. She just has to move.
Yep.
Same way the kids have to do. And like it's even worse for her in this case because she has to actually give up her coat, like for a kid. But but like the Renoir ends it just like on a sweet like shot of just like the girl like happy about her new coat, where it's like he's not. It's not. It just is what it is. Like she's happy and the grandma's sad. Like. But then we get like Blake said that when is it a possum he kills?
Yeah,
where he's like he has to go sell the skin, and it's like this great shot of all the family just like so excited to eat like actual like a possum instead of fish or whatever.
Eating actual meat basically
instead of just fish.
This is also one of the foreshadowing moments in the movie because it's they don't have vegetables or some shit and they say they need it.
Well, this is where the dad is also really dumb too. This is another example where I'm like, this is where like. Renoir's not judging, but you can like you're supposed to be judging him. Really, this idea of like education's not bad. It's like not being a country boy, but everything is not necessarily good.
Yeah,
because he's like they're like because the daughter's the one who's like they told us in school vegetables are good and like meat is bad. Only meat is bad. And he's like no, meat is only it's like only eating meat is good. Like right, grandma? Like right, mom? Like
well, yeah, because they're literally saying like what vegetables don't grow in the winter.
Yeah, it's exactly like their logic is so bad too. And they're like, yeah, vegetables actually cause the pellagra sickness or whatever. So they're like, damn, we're still going through
It sounds
this
like
thing.
some
With COVID.
It
Like,
sounds like some QAnon conspiracy theory.
COVID
Like,
shit.
yeah.
But this is the thing, like, this idea of like generations passing. Like when Blake said his grandma was the same way, but like, or like he notices certain things.
Yeah.
That's what I love about film, where you notice like certain things like carry on, even though like you would be like, oh, that was like 1930 or whatever. Of course, it's different in 2025, but it's like these kind of generational relations kind of stay the same, you know, in a way.
Yeah.
Like older and younger, or like middle, all these kind of different ways, or like how a grandma relates to her grandchildren, and all these different ways. But and then also like conservatism itself, like an older person being skeptical of newer medicine. It's like that wasn't something that only happened in the 30s; it happens now too. Yeah. Even though you would think like everyone should trust medicine now, you know, it's 2025 now, but it's like no, it's the same thing. Like older people don't trust it as much.
I mean, we're still skeptical of it too, even like we are, because we're. What was the joke? Like we'll all get on the fucking like weight loss shot because we all want to get on the lawsuit whenever it eventually goes bad. Like Ozempic.
No, that's true. And maybe as we get older, we'll become more skeptical stuff, but
even more.
But then we get some more like montages of like just them working on different things. Yeah, just working on the farm.
It's kind of like Happy, because it's like they're kind of like getting it ready. They're like planted. They're getting ready for the spring.
And I also love, this is where like I love these little transitions where like it's like Renoir just being like a painter, where like now we're seeing March or spring come. And that's what I was like saying, like the kind of like more like live transitions where it's not just a cut. But like we see the March calendar, and then the camera like pans out a little bit, and we see this like guy working on a fish hook. Just the hand is like right below the calendar, and there's like a lamp on the side. It's like, damn, it's like so good.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to like this wide shot of him like working on the boat too, like right after. It's like, damn, his dad would have been proud. But then we learn like the son is getting sick.
Yeah. And
this is like, of course, we're gonna like another like kind of like moment like the beginning of the movie with the death. Like this is another pretty serious moment of the son getting sick. And the doctor basically tells him he should be okay as long as they get vegetables
and milk.
And that's when we meet.
It's kind of funny though, because the mom even says something that goes on today where it's just like she literally tells the doctor like, yeah, he's had this sore for a little while, and we ignored it because we didn't want it to be anything, basically, until it just kept on getting bigger.
Yes.
And then they brought him in because it's
that's
like,
my medical plan.
That's my medical plan. Ignore it until it gets to the point you can't.
I should have admitted that.
No, that was me when I got the flu. I was like, do I want to go to the doctor? Or I just like sleep.
Okay, why does this guy harm me? He's reminded. I can't remember what movie he reminds me of. I'm trying to find
the doctor.
No, the guy who runs this general store that we're about to go. It's like Harmy's General Store. And the reason why I just wanted to mention this general store is...
Does he remind you of the guy in oh fuck, was it the Shop Around the Corner?
No, the Nicholas Ray movie.
I was gonna say like The Clerk or whatever, and Shop Around the Corner. I don't know.
The Clerk. Oh.
The really like peppy guy.
Oh, the guy with the glasses.
Yeah. No, the one that like just tells off the wife a few times on the phone or whatever. I can't remember.
Oh, Peppy.
Yeah. Is that his name? Peppy.
Yeah.
No, I've never seen this. I've never seen any of this guy's movies, so. Yeah, I don't know. Either way, I think the reason why I kind of like this cut too specifically, because it's like I've been talking about. There's like these different kind of like contrasts that Renoir has, and like we've talked about the generational ones, but it's also like the pull of progress or modernity versus this kind of old life they want to live.
Yeah.
And we kind of see like the pull in the other direction where like right after they need milk and vegetables, it cuts to like a close-up of Harmy's General Store. And it's like, that's like one huge one benefit of modernity is like being able to get all your stuff in one place, versus like being on the country is like, it's like a hassle just to get milk and vegetables, if you don't have it. Like you just have to go ask around or like, but now you can just go to one store.
Well, you have to prepare for the winter and shit like that.
Yes, exactly. And be worried about the weather patterns and stuff like that. And now it's like you can just go to one store. It's almost like heaven, like especially for this kid who's like needs it, and, who's like getting sick. But then it cuts back to like the narrator telling us from the beginning of the movie, and he's telling us how basically he gets reintroduced to the movie now even though we haven't seen him this whole time.
Yeah.
And we kind of he meets the main character, offers him a job at the factory. And like the guy's basically rejecting it right away until he hears the $7 a day, and then his head perks up, and that's when he's like basically considering it. Of course, this is where I'm also thinking this is like more the Hollywood part is like where this like woman like randomly just hits on him for no reason.
Bars.
Yeah. He's like, oh, like I don't know. Maybe Renoir put that in there. I don't know. It feels like we have to.
She was like Barbara Stanwyck too.
Okay.
I
can see that.
No, I know who that is.
Oh yeah, wait.
I don't know if I'd be able to recognize her if I saw her though.
That's crazy.
Why? Just like
a no-name actor. Barbara Stan. I think you're like
a forgotten genre of film.
Film.
No, I'm kidding. No, I definitely heard the name before.
Don't sound confident there.
Okay, but yeah, this is basically where we get like the guy basically it seems like he considers it at first of leaving, but then this is like Blake said this where he gets like his reasoning of why he wants to be on the farm. I wrote it down and I wrote it.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's really good because I also like the point that the narrator makes of like basically farmers are gamblers. And I'm going to read the quote in a second because it's like I mentioned this at the beginning with the owner who sells him the land, where he's like, you can take the safe route and work here, and it's like much safer, or it's a risk to like lose everything if you're working by yourself, and like that draws back to this because like he's basically gambling, you know, especially with all the stuff I've said he doesn't know about what he's getting into, all these things he's having to learn on the spot.
Well, and it's funny because we obviously just watched The Lusty Men too, and The Lusty Men is about farmers that want to be rodeo like basically in the rodeo so they can make money faster.
Yes.
So it's just like having a city guy call a farmer a gambler, and then we've also seen like farmers actually be gamblers with their lives, but
that'd be a good dual like what's it called, double feature.
A double feature.
Even though like people are like why are they doing these two movies? You'd have to explain it a little bit because it's like
it makes sense.
I actually see what you're saying, especially like the Lusty Man even like a quicker way to make because this guy's trying to be like I'm trying to make my own money through a farm, on my own farm versus like working in the fields, and someone being like you don't even need a farm, you can just. But actually, his goal is to get a farm at the end of the day too in Lusty Man.
Exactly.
At least at first, until he's just no, but actually, it's a very similar.
It's funny because actually, I think they're talking this scene where he's talking about he's just wanting to work for himself, and then he says something about you remember whenever that one guy hit a fortune with all the cotton or whatever, and then like the narrator says like see there's the reason you're actually doing this is because you're trying to get a fortune.
He's Lusty Man. He's like, I love the money in the hose too much.
Love the money in the hose too much.
I don't want to do it no more. I don't want to do it no more.
He almost loses his wife.
Okay, so let me just read this quote. It is kind of long, but I think it's beautiful because he says, "Me, I'd rather work in the fields. I feel better that way. I feel more free." And then the other guy says, "Free, man. With money in your pocket, you're as free as the wind. If you want a good meal, you go to a restaurant. If you want a good room, you go to a hotel. All you have to do is flash a greenback, so you get anything you want." You call that free, sweating from morning to night in the baking hot sun, working in the fields? And then he answers, "Oh, I won't lie. Working outside is sometimes pretty hard. What I mean is being able to decide things by myself. And know I can choose my own time about planting and plowing and harvesting my crops. That I can do it all on my own and don't have to answer to nobody. I mean, for me alone to be accountable for it. Whether the weed will strip it clean or whether it's the best crop in the country." I just love that too, because basically he's explaining why like he's willing to do all this, because it's like, it's this individualistic kind of, I guess, humanism. I've been saying like was Renoir, like how he focuses on the individual, on different people, but like that's what's driving this guy, even though there are a lot of dumb decisions. But yeah, I think it's just a beautiful scene too, where he describes it. Like I think like it almost makes sense. Like characters like making sense to himself too, because he's been having these doubts, and like as he's like talking it out to himself, he's like figuring out why he's doing it, which I think that's beautiful too. And there's like a random bar fight scene after with this.
This is so random.
And it lasts for a while.
This one
felt like they're trying to get to 90 minutes or something.
This almost felt like the Hollywood scene where they were going to have our farmer accidentally kill a man, and that was going to cause like some issues or some shit. Like that's almost where I thought I was going, because he throws the rock at his head at the very end.
Yeah, something like that. But
and then they get away, but then nothing happens. I'm like, okay, that guy.
Yes.
Pointless.
And now we're back in the country.
I mean, the shot of the statue's head like being broken off is kind of funny when like she throws the bottle at it. It's like the head like it's like kind of decapitated by like the thrown bottle.
He goes off on like $4. Oh my god. Yeah. That was a lot of money back in the day.
But this is where we get like the next scene of him going to ask the neighbor for milk because the son needs milk. And then the neighbor's like, even though we're watching this guy have a huge bucket of milk,
oh my god,
he's like, sorry, we have none to offer you.
Yeah.
Well, see, this is another point where you can see both sides though, because we've already seen how important animals are to this just like living in the country.
Yeah.
And so using this milk to make sure that your pigs have a better supply of food so that they survive longer and give you better food for your family matters more for you than looking after someone else's kid.
No, yes.
In his logic. And I can see that.
I see it until the daughter immediately gives the milk. And just says, we don't eat it.
We don't eat it. Yeah, good. He obviously has more. Like, yes, exactly. Obviously.
Exactly. There's something just like hardened about him. But I love this guy's reaction because he's like, because the neighbor's like, or the main guy is like, I want to grow my crops and I'm going to do it, because the guy's like showing doubts again.
Yeah.
And then he's like, why do you keep asking for neighbors then? Why do you keep asking for neighbors for help then? And it's like such a good burn too.
It is.
But he's like something old fashioned about neighborliness, I guess.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm like, I feel like he's that type of guy where he would always be like that. Where that's why I'm like, I don't know if he's gonna survive. You know, he might have to go back at some point. But then we get the next scene of like, it's kind of the one of the more depressing scenes of the movie where the wife is like, she doesn't want to hear the son cry anymore, and she like runs in the field, and the father's like basically praying to God.
This is one of my favorite shots in the movie, honestly.
Yes, the shot, and when he's like looking up and praying.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite quotes in the movie too, because this is also one of this is like his reason, his reason why, for sure.
Yeah, he says, "Oh Lord, how come you put that sky up there and this mud down here? Made it so pretty if you didn't want us to work it and to love it. You want me to give all this up? Move in town with Tim, work with him in a factory that hides your sky and puts out your light. Tell me, Lord, help me to know." And then we get the next scene of like they're basically getting a new cow. Are they?
Yeah.
I think they're renting it. I
think they're renting it.
I think they're renting it because someone mentions that. But anyway, we see like it's like from Harmy's general store. We see that guy come in and bring him, which is this guy's selling cows too, which is crazy.
He's renting cows.
Okay, renting cows. Yes. Then we get a shot of like the neighbors' cattle eating all their vegetables.
Yeah.
We're kind of like this thing. Renoir never shows up. It's for sure he did it on purpose. But we have our guesses that this guy probably did it on purpose.
Another fight scene.
Yeah, that's where we get the knife fight scene, which is like it's actually kind of long. That's what annoyed me about it.
It is. It's kind of detached though, honestly, for a lot of it.
The way it's shot, just like mostly just live diegetic sound. I'm pretty sure, like no music or anything. And that's where he's like, after the fight, he says, "What did I ever do to you?" And the neighbor tells him, "Like I told you the first time you ever come to ask for water. I just don't like to see folks trying to be better than they are. In this world, there's got to be those that get orders and those that take them. And you figure you was made to give them and me to take them." And he says, "I worked hard all my life."
Yeah.
And that's where, this neighbor's basically, he gets to say his own kind of like theme or his motto of like towards life. I was like, there's certain people that are cut out for this shit, and there's certain people that aren't. So that's what makes me wonder if this neighbor like had seen a guy that he liked. Like he's like, oh, that guy's going to make it. Maybe he would be willing to help. It's like, I'm just helping a guy that's not going to make it. I don't know. Like that's how I'm like maybe trying to give him more benefit of the doubt. He just might just be a shitty guy, but.
But what would a guy that he thinks would be able to make it? Like someone that's an asshole like him?
Maybe he doesn't have a happy family. That's what I have to guess.
Okay.
Maybe he's jealous of this guy's family, especially because he has a wife still.
Yeah. And kids. And both of his kids.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
That's where like this is like a kind of a great like low key Renoir moment where it's like we think we're getting the Hollywood moment of this guy following him with a gun after the neighbor leaves. After the main guy leaves, the neighbor follows him with a gun.
Yeah.
And then it just shifts totally 180 where like he gets the neighbor on his side now because like he catches this huge fish that the neighbor's been trying to catch forever.
Yeah. He's like training the brain
he's like,
for it.
Yeah, he's like let me use your vegetable garden basically. It's just like such a simple way. Like
Yeah.
it's like an unpredictable but simple way to like almost turn it 180 from like this is like a dramatic movie where the neighbor's like trying to get revenge or like almost maybe shoot this guy towards like now he has a vegetable garden to use and the neighbor doesn't hate him anymore because he got his like this fish that he gets
it's like catfish.
yeah. Just like so low. It's just like such a great little moment. It's like I love little like little shifts like that.
Giant catfish too.
Yeah.
Then movies about fishing too. I like too. Yes. I don't know if it's like because Hawks has a movie called Man's Favorite Sport. It's about like this like it's like fisherman expert who like is like super renowned. Like all the top fishermen in the world in the U.S. like go to him to like for their fishing needs. But he like literally has never caught a fish before.
Wait, which movie is this?
Man's Favorite Sport.
Oh damn.
It's the one where like the bear rides the motorcycle.
Oh, okay.
That's the scene.
Alright, that's a good.
It's really good. And then he gets entered into a fishing competition.
You see the Hawks discourse on the TL?
What happened?
It was that critic Richard Brody. He was tweeting about how like critics like I'll show you later.
Okay.
I'll show you after. But anyway, this is where like we get another little kind of moment of just all of a sudden Harmony's getting married to a woman. Like they agreed to get married while they're laying in the fields, and now we're getting a wedding reception. Not really connected to anything. This could happen in the day life of farmer.
It's kind of happening.
But yeah, it's a great little scene of where like all these different people like dancing and stuff. Like he's almost like teasing drama, where he like puts the alcohol in the stove just to hide it. And when the grandma, alcohol. The good alcohol, and the grandma comes later, doesn't know, and she's like lighting the stove, and you're like, oh shit, we're gonna get like this. And then, of course the guy comes like, no, grandma, don't light it.
My alcohol.
And then he like falls. I feel like
they like play hot potato with it basically.
Yeah, might steal that. Put it in the oven to hide it.
That's a terrible idea.
It's just kind of funny though. Like
it is.
Imagine just like you see someone pull out like a beer out of your oven.
It's just like there's all these like heavy like these swings like you think there's gonna be a blow something happened and then he saves it and like everyone starts laughing and then as everyone's leaving this the wedding or the reception we see like heavy rain starts and the wife's like what's gonna happen to our cot and it almost gets like really serious all of a sudden it's like now they have to worry about life again and then we get like a montage of the rainstorm and like the land's like devastated like we just saw a wedding now we're getting like right after the next scene is like all the everything they've worked for has basically been destroyed on this like land and stuff.
In a night.
Yes. After the vegetable garden was already destroyed earlier by animals. So like basically now the vegetable garden they have is not even theirs. It's like their neighbors. Now their land has been destroyed as well. Yeah. Like basically their house too. And like this is basically where the movie's gonna like end. Like this is where the movie actually leaves. They're all this is where the main guy's like they go and like search for this cow that they got lost. Because, like, if it's true that's rented, like, this actually might be more important than even, like, the house, I can't remember if... I'm pretty sure it's rented.
No, well, he says something about how this cow is, like super important and he has to go out and get it. Like... Because they see it, like, out in the river... Or not in the river, I guess, but in this newly formed river.
It is kind of annoying where you watch, like...
the fat guy do nothing.
Start to drown.
Yeah,
he's, like, starting to drown.
For no reason.
Yeah, it's like, of course we have to watch this guy, like, almost drown and stuff. But this is where the main guy like he's starting to have doubts again where he's like fell out of know when he's beat and the like I love some of Renoir's like closing shots like Blake noticed at the beginning with the shot of the dog when the camera like at the funeral at the very beginning and it just like kind of fades to black with the dog. This one, like, as the guy says, like, fell out to know when he's beat, it ends with the cow just in the water, like, as a face of black, just, like, almost, like, symbolizing, like, basically the chaos they're in right now, But then we watch the, this is where I was saying earlier with the camera, where, like, instead of just, like, cutting to a calendar, like, of course, like, Renoir has to pan to it, so, like, the camera, like, slowly pans to the side, and then it goes to August. But this is where I was, like, the grandma kind of, like, she kind of, like, shows her, like, why she's in it. Because she's been, like, negative almost this entire movie. Yeah. But, like, this is where, like, old age could actually help. I can't put things in context because, like, we've seen all the damage. And she says, she says something like, same thing happened to us, except for it was, like, much, much worse when it happened to us. And, like, right after she says that, there's, like, almost, like, a light that goes off in, like, the dad's head where he's, like, it's been way worse for people. You know,
Oh,
where
yeah.
it's like he's been like thinking about giving up, and that's
Like
where,
this isn't new.
Yes, exactly. And that's where he says, I forgot what he'd mentioned. I guess he's already told the narrator he'll come to town after all this has happened.
He said that like right before they came back to the house
Yes,
because he was
yes.
looking at the trees
Yes,
and
yes,
saying like,
yes.
"I hate these trees in this forest now that all this has happened" or something.
Yeah.
And that's why I was
used
like,
to love it, but
that's why I love this. Like, it's like so simple. I want to watch it again because I don't remember exactly how the cuts happen of like when the grandma says it to like when the dad says like has this realization, but it was like
I think
basically
the grandma is saying it in the background while we're just watching the dad,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I think you might be right. And it's like this great shot of like the cows in this wet field and the background, and like the husband and wife are in the foreground on the right. Just like these great shots. But like the narrator says, "You said you was coming to town with me." And he's like, "Yeah, I said it." He's like, "Yeah, you said it, but you ain't coming now, huh?" And he's like, "I was a plum wore out a while, and I didn't seem to believe in nothing no more. But now my clothes are starting to dry. I'm starting to believe again. I guess that's the way the earth feels when she's wet. But the sun will start drying her out, and she'll start calling to me again, just like Nona does sometimes." I love that line because like that'll be like a Ray, like especially for the Upper trilogy, but just for like all of Ray's movies. It's like this idea of like in Charlotta, we'll mention the quote when she says it. But like she has this idea, she has this quote like talking about life's rhythms of being like up and down, like that's basically what life is. These kind of contrasts, you know, of like going back and forth. And I think Renoir is like a very similar thing. You know, it's like earth gets wet, then it dries again. You know, and we see both like all these different ways of like life, like almost like balancing itself out, I guess. But yeah, but then that's basically how the movie ends. It's like this land is devastated, and but the guy's hopeful, you know. And you could say he's even worse off than he was at the beginning.
Definitely.
But he's had more knowledge, so maybe
Yes.
not. You know, maybe not.
And
that's
they're more
that's
together.
for Renoir. That's like hope.
And they're still together. So
Yes, that is
the
true.
family unit stuck together.
That is still true. That's actually, I'm glad you said that because that'll be one major difference with the Upper trilogy is like basically the family, how modernity breaks apart the family union.
Yeah.
From Pater Panchali to the World of Apu. So I guess because I'll read the end of the Southerner before we go to the Ladies Man. I have one more Bazin quote from that book I read. I think it really kind of describes Renoir well. A Renoir film identifies itself instantly. The sensuality, the sense of happiness with its sharp counterpoint of skepticism and irony, but a smiling skepticism, and an irony without bitterness. Cruel sometimes, but only out of tenderness. Its cruelty is objective. It is nothing more than the acknowledgement of destinies at odds with happiness, the measure of a love without constraint and without illusion. Its sympathy always goes out to the victim. Renoir has a sense of the tragic, but he does not dwell on it. Not because he does not respect it, but because the only way to overcome destiny is to believe in the happiness in spite of it. Especially that last line is like this ending of this movie in a way, you know, it's like the only way to overcome the destiny is to believe in happiness in spite of it. It's like even if like everything physical is like telling you not to, like this guy's belief kind of gives you a hopeful ending, you know.
Well, actually the La Chien review that I was talking about earlier kind of, I feel like this is kind of a similar idea where he's at the end of it he says this is a realism of manners, not of psychology. Psychological realism is never complete realism. Realism works in relation to the freedom of the mise en scène. Like I don't know, I kind of like you said something about like I forgot what you said that kind of reminded me of it, but like the cruelty being objective.
Yeah,
maybe.
its cruelty is objective. It's nothing more than
Yeah.
the acknowledgement of destinies at odds with happiness.
Yeah, and without illusion or like.
But yeah, that's like he's talking about all of Renoir's movies in a way. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the Southerner. We'll come back and talk about Luke's pick for us, The Ladies Man.
Yep.
Nice.
And we're back to talk about my pick for this week's episode, The Ladies' Man, directed by Jerry Lewis. Our first Jerry Lewis we've done on the pod. I think both you guys are more new to Jerry Lewis. I'm still not like an expert on him by any means, but I kind of started watching him last year, and I really like a lot of his movies. So.
Interesting. That's not how you were telling us. You were talking about him earlier.
Well, these two, like this movie and the Bellboy.
You set unfair expectations for him. Let me just say that.
What I said?
That's why I said. I told you he said unfair
expectations. Which movie was it where you
he's
said
comparing him to Tati, and I said
no,
he's not
he
Tati.
said it was better than City Lights too.
I said it was on the same level as I said the Bellboy was.
You said it might be better too.
Maybe.
That based on this movie, like it's just the most insane thing I've ever heard in my life. And I like this movie just to get ahead of it because I know Luke.
You hate it too, probably. But no, I mean I still get like these two movies are really good. This one, I think the Bellboy is a more perfect movie. But this one, I don't know. Like, I think I like the concept a lot, and like I think there's some interesting ideas in this movie that I like a lot. So like for me personally, like I guess I'll just go ahead and get into like why I like it a lot. It's and why Jerry Lewis too. Like a big thing about him is like he is kind of in the lineage of the director actors that we've talked about quite a bit. And we did Chaplin, Keaton, Tati, Kitano, these kind of like actor, comedian, directors. And Jerry Lewis, he's really interesting, especially the way he uses maybe his like face and his body, and that he's a lot more over the top than a lot of them, which I think you could probably see for sure in this movie and all his movies. Like some of the stuff he does with his face and just his body in general are just like so insane, which I can see maybe turning people off, but like it's so entertaining and so funny to me. And then like he also like the way he uses his voice too is like I could also see that being grating to some people. I mean it kind of does at some points maybe in this movie, but like I don't know. It sort of fits like kind of like his character's personality in this film, where he's like a bit like I don't know, a bit, you know, how he is. It just kind of fits it. And in this movie too, like I also like how he's kind of like he was making movies kind of in the Hollywood system, but like they didn't really have much plot at all. Like this one, it kind of like Bellboy is like much more sticks to that. I feel like this movie, it kind of starts off like it's gonna be like setting up some sort of like it's like a typical like start of a Hollywood film, and then like once he gets into this like dollhouse set, it's like basically it's like there's like basically no story at all, and there's kind of there's like kind of the journey he goes on, you could say, that kind of like gets resolved, but like other than that it's just like gags.
No, I definitely agree with that part.
And I kind of like it too because like it's almost like he kind of has this crisis, you know, at the beginning, and then when he goes in this kind of like fake world in a way that he's like confronted like by this like artificiality of this world, an artificiality of like kind of like his issues, you could say, this kind of representation of it, like the like all the women and stuff, like and like him having to overcome it, and kind of like I don't know, I kind of really just like him wanting to like feel needed in the world or just belonging to the world. Like I feel like that's kind of how I read the ending. Like that's kind of like I guess they kind of explicitly say it too, which like the one girl says like we need you or whatever. But no, this movie is just like it's just I don't know, it's just really, also just a really fun movie to watch. Like a lot of really funny moments, a lot of really inventive like visual stuff too, and comedic stuff. But yeah, I guess I'll ask y'all your overall thoughts. I'll start with you, Blake. What do you think?
So I wish you would have picked the Bellboy. Honestly, I liked it a lot more.
Damn, you kind of mint on the Bellboy too. You're like,
no, I like the Bellboy. I like the Bellboy.
You might be mint on Jerry Lewis.
Well, I definitely am mint on some things on Jerry Lewis, because I definitely am not a huge fan of his face and what he's trying and on like the jokes with that.
Damn.
Well, just like all these different funny faces. I don't know, man.
I mean,
like,
this one is definitely hit or miss for me.
Like
it's kind of funny. Yeah,
it takes he's an interesting merging of old like silent comedy and basically what happened like right after sound comedy took off, just like this fast talking ridiculous stupid speech basically. I don't know, he's an interesting merging of that,
like
but it's two I don't love.
I can see that.
Even that's one I actually need to watch more of.
It's just like I love the more physical acting, the more physical comedy that he does. But whenever he like does any of the talking or any of the even the face stuff, I'm just like I don't really find a lot of this hilarious. I don't know. I do think the sets in this movie are very impressive. Like the dollhouse itself looks fucking awesome, but and I do think there are definitely some funny ass parts. Like a lot of the side characters are honestly really funny. Yeah. Like, but I think that's also I don't know. Like maybe I just need to watch more Jerry. I mean, obviously I just need to watch more Jerry Lewis because I might like him as the more I watch him. Like the more I just get used to his face, like I might just see myself liking it more. But like obviously like two of the director actors you mentioned are ones I chose, which are Buster Keaton and Kitano, and they're stone faces. Like that's obviously my preferred type. My preferred type of comedy is this like stone face type comedy. I don't know. I do kind of I do like the plotless nature of his movies. Like I enjoy that in The Bellboy, especially like how it just doesn't. It's not talking about anything. It's just these ridiculous sketches in a hotel. Yeah. But this one. I don't think it works as much. Okay. I don't know. Like the skits just aren't as they're way more hit and miss. I feel like in this one than they are in the Bellboy.
And like I just talked about Renoir, where he's like such a rhythmic director, and like I don't know. I just don't think Jerry Lewis thought about that. Like that kind of cohesion while making this. So like, and to me, a lot of the funny parts are like hit or miss. But it just doesn't seem like even the theme of the movie that you were talking about. This idea of like being wanted. I don't even know if like all the like scenes kind of reflect that, you know, or some of them really. I don't even know if that's the journey he actually goes on. If you really say that, I don't know like if that's what we get from watching the previous scenes of the movie, if you know what I mean. But I will say something like I would like to read like some kind of like French New Wave, like why they love this movie or something, like because they probably had some other reading of the movie that probably Jerry Lewis didn't even think about or something, like because there is a certain really openness to this movie where I'm like. There are like some pauses and like there'll be no music and it'll just be like it almost like Buñuelian, like kind of like is this like what the fuck is going on right now kind of thing. Like it's like this has nothing to do with what I'm, like I said, this has nothing to do with that kind of like corny theme where I'm talking like this idea
and like Godard, I think Godard has a quote where he's like he's more of a painter than a director, but he himself probably doesn't even know it.
See, that doesn't even know a thing. Like I mean, I think that's true with probably every painter in a way. Like or they shouldn't know everything. Like. That they're painting like beforehand, you know, but I don't know. Like that's where some of they feel very like when the jokes drop dead. Like it almost feels like they're literally like dropping. You know? At least to me, I'm like, damn, it's like just damn, there's like nothing here. But I don't know. That's why it's like the experience of watching it was hit or miss for me. But I don't know. Like I feel like there's some deeper readings of like
there's like definitely a lot of like interesting.
I don't like psychoanalysis that much, but like I'm sure there's like some psychoanalysis readings of him like with the mother and stuff, and this idea of like, especially because it has this like breakup scene in the beginning, like
and then also like
and then he's like surrounded by these beautiful women, doesn't even care,
and he also like plays his mother too, and at the beginning.
That's true. Also true. I don't know. There's probably some readings like that I don't know about, but. I don't know. You compared him to City Lights, and that's so.
I was comparing the Bellboy,
but I can see him in that tradition. Like I want to watch more of his movies because I do feel like he has like he's thought about that. Yeah. Wow. I'm surprised you put him in the Tati Chaplin tier though. I'll just say that.
I mean, I don't know. Like I'm not like as familiar with him as that, but like the Bellboy is like so good. Like.
And there are some great quotes in this movie.
He definitely has an eye for framing. That's definitely one thing.
I like the white shot.
He's like his visual language is like.
That's what I'm like. Yeah, he definitely has respect for this kind of the comedy past.
Yeah.
And there's some crazy like. I don't know. I just like the overly. That's why I like silent cinema more of the comedy, where it's like through the. Expressions more than I don't know. The sounds kind of annoy me. I don't know. I don't know exactly what it's bothering me so much about this movie while I was watching it. But I also liked some of it. And I'm willing to watch. I'm gonna watch his other movies at some point.
Okay. I guess we can go ahead and get into it. We get a cool credit sequence with like the book and like the colors, like the color text. But then we get basically it starts off with like. Basically, like shit's going down this like street, basically, because like it's like everyone's like crashing into each other. It's like kind of random, but it's like it kind of like sets the mood. I feel like kind of like the wackiness and craziness about to happen, like or just like I don't know.
So what is the mood of this movie?
Like I like just kind of like the I don't know how to explain it, but like the like kind of surrealist comedy, I guess, that kind of like gets piled on.
Do you think he sees himself as a surrealist?
Because
that's why like Buñuel's like he's such a perfect like every frame matters. Like there's kind of like there's a certain efficiency to his films.
Does he see
like,
himself? I don't know. Like what that like would even like.
Because there's something surrealistic about comedy in general. Like you're just thinking of some like random things that happen. Like oh, you think it's gonna be this, and it's actually this. Like.
But even he like has like these like. I don't know, these kind of fantastical kind of stuff happening. Like
he does actually. Yeah. The butterfly thing.
Yeah, the butterfly thing is exactly what I was thinking about.
And I love how it's not referenced in later in the movie.
Yeah.
Where it's like it becomes later part of the plot where he's like magical or something.
And some things like don't make sense too, like the
whole
thing with the baby.
It's just for the joke, and that's it. Like that's a really silent comedy thing.
Yeah.
You know? Where like there's no continuity in terms of wait, something just happened in the previous scene. What, doesn't have something have to happen in the next scene? Like Chaplin's not thinking about that.
No, yeah. But no, yeah, we get like then we see like him like his graduation's happening. This is definitely like just like kind of like setting stuff up because he's like sees like the his girlfriend or whatever kissing another guy and he's like starts like freaking out. Like it's like you kind of see like his face like where he like falls backwards and he's like the way he's like scooting himself across the ground is like impressive. So he's saying like his like body like language and stuff. He's like I don't know like he's like opening his mouth. His like eyes are, like really wide and stuff like.
I wonder if I'd like this movie if I muted it more.
Okay.
Because like you're describing the actions, like the sounds are like annoy the fuck out of me too. Especially the overly expressionistic sounds.
Yeah, they're definitely over expressionistic. Yeah.
And you know me.
And like yeah.
Especially like Tati, where like the way he just does everything is like he's like the perfect silent sound comedy star.
I don't know, there's different to me.
There's different perfections, but I don't know if this one is. Is this your favorite Jerry Lewis?
No, Bellboy.
Okay, why did you rate Bellboy then?
That's why.
Just because of
I just like I don't know like I like the I just like certain moments in this movie a lot like or just like I like the ideas maybe in this one more interesting a little bit with like the dollhouse thing like the dollhouse too like the set thing I really like.
It is satisfying.
It was kind of I was kind of pulling straws. I didn't really know which one to pick, but I just went away with this one. But the Bellboys, we might need to do the Bellboy at some point too, because he's actually a lot more silent in that. He actually is silent the whole time in that movie.
It's pretty quiet.
Because there's a funny joke at the end where he like finally speaks up, and they're like, "Wait, you can speak? You never speak?" He's like, "Well, you never asked me." Like, so maybe you'd like that one more, Dany, if like because he doesn't talk as much. It's much more of a quiet movie, but then yeah, we see like kind of this like his like parents are crying and stuff, but he's like basically saying like, oh, I hate girls now. Like, this is like kind of the Freudian thing you were talking about, like and just like thing he has to like overcome throughout the movie, and then like basically he's like looking for jobs and like when he ever sees a girl like a girl like at the door or whatever.
Well, every job he gets is basically just this girl looking for a bachelor.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Basically, I don't know.
And he's like immediately runs away like freaked out. Like goes through a few of those, and then
is he just a male stripper or a male hooker? No.
Yeah, that's interesting. And then like he goes to the door of the. I guess it's like this time it's like an older woman because this is the door of the dollhouse thing, and then like it's like young bachelors one. He opens the door. It's the older woman that like kind of like runs the.
Now, why do they want young bachelors?
He never says that. Yeah.
It's like I guess like. I mean, he is like an errand boy in the movie.
That's true, cleaning
but
and stuff.
Yeah, I
like
guess it never
too.
really explicitly says. Because I guess, and he jumps into this girl's arms because I think it's just saying like he at least resembles. She's an older woman, or maybe like resembles his mother. Maybe that's kind of how I read it. Why he like is so excited. He's like finally this like when she opens this door.
I think it's just like he's not gonna get hit on.
That too, yeah.
By an older woman,
like
yeah.
Even though he kind of is, honestly.
Yeah, and then like
hits on
him. And then like
he does say I'm safe.
Yeah, he says yeah.
So
like,
that's
yeah.
could be the mother thing you're talking about.
Yeah. And like the girl's like asking him questions and like she like keeps on like yapping or whatever, and he's like trying to get a word out. It's like so. I love his face in this scene because he's like, I don't know. He's like, it's like he's not saying anything, but he's like trying to get something out, but like his way his face is doing it. It's like he keeps getting like rejected by her because she keeps yapping, and then finally he's just like Herbert. H. Hebert. It's like she asked her name, but like wouldn't stop.
Herbert Hebert.
Hebert.
I will say there's a one later you showed us that joke that like you found really funny.
Just like Willard C. Gainsborough. The C is for killer.
This one is also really funny where it's just like I think this is funny because there's literally no levels to it, which is like why it's so funny. Where it's like he's like, where he says, "I got a pair of Herberts in front of my Eber." I don't know why, just the way he says that one is funny.
Yeah.
It's like, "I got a pair of Herberts in front of my Eber." Like, is that supposed to be perverted or something?
I don't know.
Yes,
It doesn't-
100%.
I don't think
it's a
so.
sexual thing.
How is that sexual?
His Hebert is his dick.
What's a
maybe?
pair of Herberts? See,
His-
that's what I'm like.
his
I
balls.
think there's no levels to it. And then when you read it, you're like, wait, what?
Wait, what?
Because they'll make the same thing with the other joke later. You're like,
Yeah.
no, it's just like literally nothing to it. It's like that's why it's funny.
No,
That
it
killer
is.
guy might be my favorite part of this entire
Oh, that-
movie.
that-
You didn't even like the joke when we showed it to him. Remember?
Oh yeah.
The killer.
But I mean,
the killer guy is funny. I
No,
thought
the
you were
killer
talking about
guy's
the joke.
funny. What joke? Which joke?
When he says his name when he first introduced himself.
Willard C. Gainsborough. C is
It's
killer.
C is for
killer.
He's like, oh,
I was afraid of
That's
this.
right, yeah. No, and the stuff afterwards with him is like.
If
so
you showed
funny,
that to me
too.
out of context, then yes, I would
That is
find
true.
that
It's way
unfunny.
better
It's
once
way
you
better
see
in
it.
I guess,
context.
I guess maybe.
No, you have to have the context because
you have
this
to
is a
kinda-
random guy. Like,
Especially in context of the comedy of a film. Like,
Yes.
Because
something
Yeah.
ridiculous
It's kind of-
happened just before that too with this guy or with someone like this to make him say, "Oh, of course." Like,
Yeah.
maybe it is perverted. I'm just like, I'm so innocent. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. And then he basically he reads like a letter recommendation, and the girl was like, "When did you write that?" He's like, "Oh, last night." I didn't have any. And then eventually he starts like breaking down, telling her about like what happened and basically about his girlfriend. It's like so bizarre, this sequence. I don't know why I don't know if it's like a studio thing or if like even the studio meddled with this at all. But like when it like has that weird flashback when he's like telling her about like when he saw the girlfriend, like his girlfriend being kissed by that guy. It's like that weird flashback all of a sudden.
Yeah.
The scene we just saw like
Yeah.
5-10 minutes ago. It's like so bizarre. I don't even know why. But it does she's trying and like she's crying because of it. But it sets up like a hilarious joke in this way where she's like, because her name's Faith, and she's like Herbert, you gotta have faith, and then he just starts freaking out, crying, and he just like spreads across the table freaking out. Like he's like the way he's bent over this table or just like laying out over this table is so crazy. And then it's like gets more like she's like Herbert, like all I said he's gotta have a little faith, and he like does it even more. It's funny. It's a funny scene. But yeah, some of the positions, like the way his body moves in some scenes, I'm just like, how the fuck does he even like do this? In all his movies, especially. But yeah, then we get like introduced to, like Miss Wellemelon, which is like a hilarious name.
it's a great name.
So there's some crazy names in this movie.
Yeah, Herbert Hebert.
Herbert Heaver, Mrs. Wellemelon. I have trouble saying that sometimes. She's like the lady that like runs the place basically. And yeah, they like show him to his room. He like has that like thing with the bed.
What is this place?
Like a harem or like a harem?
Okay.
I'm assuming something like that.
I thought it was a whorehouse, and I was like, "This is kind of crazy
I don't
for like
know.
the '60s."
Kind of, yeah.
Right?
I was
'Cause
like,
men
this
are
is
coming
crazy
there.
for the 60s.
It seems like it.
They never
Sort of.
say
Yeah,
it.
they never explicitly say it.
obviously, because it looks just like
But
also like a
the-
charter house or
But
something.
all the
for
girls
women,
like there's like that
but-
one girl that's an actress.
No, yeah, that's why I was
Like-
like, it's also
It's
just
kind of,
could just be a charter house for women or something.
Yeah, something like
but-
it's like it doesn't really explicitly say it because like then Mrs. Wellmelon like is like she's like famous or whatever too. We just
yeah,
find
for
out,
an
too.
opera, for being an
Yeah.
opera singer or something.
But then they say kind of this sort of like the hinting. I'm like, okay, there's something here. Like he's kind of hinting at certain things because they're like, oh, but she's like trying to help other women the same way she got started.
yeah,
Yeah.
So it's like, is that hinting like she also did this at the beginning of her career or something? You know, it's
Yeah.
kind of.
I don't know. I never explicitly.
I don't know, like, because is she running this kind of place like in
Because the maid's
like
so-
in Light Plaisir or we've seen different movies
Yeah,
with this, like
yeah.
where they run the
No. Yeah.
well, because the
it's
maid,
like a higher class whorehouse basically.
the maid says something like, "We finally got a man," or "We finally got a man." And then Miss Wellmelon says, "Does he know what kind of place we're running here?" And then the maid says, "No, but he's gonna find out."
Yeah, no, yeah,
Well,
it's
okay.
it's funny how like long they keep it from him because like they don't explicitly tell him and like then he
I
like
still don't know what it is.
yeah, they never explicitly says it.
Which I
I
kinda
mean,
like
for
that,
him it's just
so-
for him it's just like there's a bunch of women, so obviously he's gonna
Yeah.
like freak out. And then he like sinks into his bed. Like his bed just like gets destroyed.
The scene of him,
It's like slowly gets destroyed too.
that him sinking into his bed is hilarious.
That's crazy.
The scene of him like actually seeing all the women for the first time reminds me of Buster Keaton though, for sure. And then I think Seven Chances, whenever he like walks in and just sees all the women. There
Oh, okay,
also.
yeah. Okay, so yeah, we get this
very
like
similar shot.
Yeah, we get this like montage too, like because like after he falls in bed of like the woman looking. We're gonna use it for the music, I think. One of the songs. It's like it's basically like this is like basically him starting to show off the dollhouse, basically like all like the sets because the set's insane.
It is insane. I do like the set.
Like I'm like it's crazy. And yeah, we like see all like different personalities. They're all going down to eat, and then like Herbert wakes up and basically like goes down there and like I guess then we can see like when he gets to the bottom floor, we get like the first like pan out to see like the whole like set like at once. Really cool set. Just like probably like definitely the first thing you think of when you think of this movie is just like the set. And then basically he walks into the room, sees everyone staring at him, and then like this well-known does like the like starts singing opera or whatever.
Oh my god!
And they all start singing too. It's like it's like some cult shit basically. Like I guess maybe this also could be a cult if you want to think about it that way.
Okay.
But
the cult of the Wellermelon.
yeah, I guess. And then he goes like then he has like the freak out like he was like mama, and it's like his face goes insane, and then like he does like the cool like it's like three of him like running out too.
Yeah, that was fun.
I mean, there has to be some sound.
There's like
that
4.
did that too. Yeah, like 4 or 5. What? I feel like
there definitely
did
is.
Buster Keaton do that sometimes?
Like, Buster Keaton's had more of himself on screen for sure because we did the Playhouse with Buster where he had all of himself on screen, but that wasn't necessarily exactly like this. But
yeah,
whenever they're all running into each other and shit.
Yeah. And then like he's like bored
because this is more like Looney Tunes, honestly.
Someone
gets, or like Scooby Doo, whenever they get scared, and then there's just like multiple versions of themselves.
That's an amazing way to describe because Frank Tashlin, who's a director of a lot of like the early Looney Tunes shorts, worked with Jerry Lewis a lot.
Okay.
Like because there's a film called Artists and Models, which I like love, which is like Frank Tashlin. It's like a musical with Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin because they were like a comedy duo.
A musical with Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin. That sounds interesting.
Oh, it's amazing. Fuck, what's her name? I'm already forgetting. The girl from Shirley MacLaine's also in it.
Do I know her?
She's the girl from The Apartment, and
I haven't seen The Apartment.
you definitely seen her at some point. You have to. Shirley MacLaine. Oh, okay, never mind. You would probably recognize her face if you saw it, but no, yeah, but like it definitely that. I mean, that definitely shows like he kind of is like that kind of Looney Tune like type of.
Now that I think about it, he does have a Bugs Bunny feel to him.
I could see that
honestly.
Too. Maybe, or I feel like Bugs Bunny though he's like, I don't know, he feels a bit more like not as emotionally involved. I feel like at points like isn't Bugs Bunny like usually like pretty like detached or whatever?
He is pretty detached. I feel like they all are.
Which I feel like I don't know. He feels like he's above. Bugs Bunny feels like he's above everything that's going on, which Jerry Lewis kind of is like involved in it more, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. Bugs likes to act like that, but I think he's more.
I mean, I haven't watched any like Looney Tunes in a while. I just want to remember because like you see like when he like looks in the camera, you're like, "What's that dog?" Like that's kind of what I remember, but
he does got a Bugs Bunny energy to him though.
You can see that, yeah. But yeah, he like boards himself in his room, and then like Mr. Wellmelon like. Basically, like open the door slowly with the carpet.
It was funny. That part was funny.
Yeah.
Because his face after she just opens the door is also hilarious.
Yeah. And then then Miss Wellmelon basically like forces him to eat breakfast.
This part was dumb. I didn't like that scene.
I love this scene. I'm not gonna lie. It's like I like.
What's the journey here? Is like he's like learning to become a mother, like learning to be mothered or something, or he has to go through the stages of life because he got rejected.
Learning to be wanted.
Yeah. Maybe he got rejected he got his heart broken, so now he has to go through the stages of like. I don't know, childhood. I don't know what like.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm so curious, like what this journey is.
Like I don't know, like how explicitly it's like I don't know. It's hard to say, I guess, but. I don't know. I guess maybe like the whole like the fact that he's an errand boy too maybe goes into it. Yeah, I don't know. I need to think about it more. But no, like the reason why like I don't know like the way he's like I don't know the dynamics between him and like this like in the maid girl in this scene where he's like
there are some
where she keeps like missing him. And he's like you missed that. Like
you did that on purpose.
Like he's like make sure you get this side too. Like acting like she's like shaving him basically because she's like keeps on like putting stuff on him. And he's like,
there was one great part where he's talking and she just shoved the spoon in. And he's like, "You got me that time."
Yeah,
that one got me.
No,
But I don't know.
so she's like say, "Oh,
the scene in its entirety. I think it went on a little bit too long.
I mean, it's only for like 45 seconds.
Yeah.
But,
Older gentlemen acting like babies always.
I don't know. Jerry Lewis.
Let's move on past this. I don't know.
Jerry Lewis is like the exception though.
Okay.
Because like the thing is, Jerry Lewis, he's in
the role.
The way he's like uses his voice, like I don't know, like I think it fits it better. But just like the way he acts too. I don't know. I feel like it just like it's better though. But
maybe it'll grow on me like Blake said with age.
With age.
But then yeah, we see like this is I guess we had the butterfly scene where like the maid's like make sure this case is perfectly dusted or whatever, and then there's like these like butterflies there, and he opens.
See, I like the smaller jokes he makes in between, like because she's like telling him you have to be really careful. And he's like, and he just says it really casually. He's like, I'll just do it from another room, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, it makes no sense. But she just like, doesn't even hear what he's saying. Too.
Yeah. And then, he opens it, and if they fly off.
Yeah, they fly off for some reason.
And then he whistles back and then, like, gets them back on, like, after that. While I guess this also sets up a joke where she goes to, like, feed baby as well, which comes back.
He breaks the glass collection too.
Oh, the way he did this, like, is like he picks up one thing and then when he picks it back and then he just like
I always love this.
Lose control.
They're trying to make it better and they make it worse.
Yeah, it doesn't even make any sense either.
Or where it would have been completely fine.
And then he asked the joke.
Didn't say anything.
And then he asked at the end, he's like, "You got any glue?"
yeah.
Like super tiny pieces.
Oh my god. No, and then she's like, "Oh, but I told her that it went off to get dusted or whatever because those are really dirty." Yeah. And then I guess she asked him to go feed baby, but he's like, I don't know anything about burping, you know. But he's like, oh, he's not that type of baby. And then I think this is where he goes like he like goes to the door, and they like ask him to knock. He's like, what do I need? Why do I need to knock? It's just a pet, right? And then like he gets like basically like the huge like it's like an insane shot where like the baby roars at him.
Yeah.
And like the way like the I think it's the milk he's carrying. Is it milk? I'm pretty sure.
It's milk.
It like flies up at him. It's like bubbling in a way because of the sound. And then he has to like bring out like a huge.
This is also a Looney Tunes joke, 100%. The object behind the door that you can't see because they even bring it back and make you think it's just a little tiny dog before actually bringing it back.
Like at the very end, the last shot of the movie.
That is true.
Yeah. And like
the shot of him carrying the giant jug of milk or the giant carton of milk is really funny.
No, and then dragging the huge chicken fucking meat thing or meat. Yeah, I think it's just meat. I don't even know.
It's just meat. Yeah,
it's just a fucking thing.
A leg of something.
And then he like throws it in there and has to like pull it out. It's like immediately gone. It's crazy. Yeah, and then like I guess we see him like delivering mail to like all the girls. Like the one girl like. I guess we were just kind of like seeing some of the different personalities.
We meet the possible romantic interest of the rehearsal lady. She's like
probably the romantic interest.
She's the one that gives her like big speech, her Hollywood ass meeting speech at the end.
Yes.
This is the meaning of the movie. Because she's like not that important to the movie at all.
I guess.
I mean, these are both Hollywood movies. We talked about Southern too, where it just feels like they have to have some of these moments. From, like,
I guess I could forget it. But there's some cool he like hands one of the mail through the trombone because like the one girl plays music. Some of these it does spend a long time in the rehearsal scene too for like how unimportant she is to the movie. Really, I mean, it's kind of funny though. Like, or wait, which one? I told him when he first meets her.
Basically this first scene we're meeting her.
It's kind of funny, like how much like he's like reacts to, like her switching up on him. I think it's kind of funny, like because like when she like closes the door, like you want to see this like thing I'm auditioning for? I close the door, immediately starts like yelling at him. And he's like so confused.
The suite into the yelling was also funny.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I like this scene. He just starts yelling at him and slapping him. He's like, oh my god.
No, he's like, I wish you'll make a terrific lion tamer. Like, we get like one girl like that's like I feel like she's impersonating Marilyn Monroe. That one girl, like with the mole. He's like really romantic. And then I guess
we get like it happens a couple times where Jerry tries to run away.
yeah,
He's like this idea of just like being wanted by women. I guess. I mean, maybe that's a theme of the movie too. Of he likes feeling. He just wants to be feeling wanted.
Yeah.
Especially by women because like he gets his heart broken in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then maybe that's what I don't know. Maybe there's
That's
something
what all
there,
men
too.
want. No,
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Maybe not all men.
Not all men.
I mean, maybe all men in their own way, but
Yeah.
but not the way Jerry wants it. I guess. I don't know, cause like, yeah, because that's the whole thing at the end where he's like running away and then like not chasing him and he's like, wait, why are they chasing me?
Yeah.
You know? Like, but then right after that is like when we meet the killer.
This is my favorite scene.
This is my favorite scene in the movie too. This scene is fucking hilarious.
First of all, the actor who plays the Willard C. Gainsborough, like
so good,
amazing. Like basically, mafia guy, basically. Of course, with the scar on his like mouth, like tough guy, like he's like, can I get anything for you? He's like, yeah, kid, get on my way. And he's like basically here to see his girl, but then he's like he like runs off initially. He's like, I forgot to find because he didn't tell him initially. He just ran off to go find it. He's like, actually, he comes back and he's like, actually, you didn't even tell me who what their name was. And he's like, stupid. He's like, oh, my name's Herbert. He's like, no, stupid. And he's like, okay, stupid Herbert. But then he's like telling him like he tells her name, but he's like, you promise you won't look at her. You won't even like you won't even like talk to her at all. Like. Basically threatening him.
Don't even go in the same room as her.
Yeah, don't go in the same room as her. And then we get to, like obviously the World C. Gainsborough. The C is for killer. He's like, oh, I was afraid of that. He's like, Herbert's like, I'm gonna give a note to another girl, then go come get her down. And then I think then he's like he goes off. The maid like kisses him on the cheek for some reason. She's like happy for him or something. And then he gets the girl, and he's like, that's lipstick. He's like, when he comes back, he's like, oh, that's lipstick on your face, right? And he's like, oh, no. He's like...
The getting the girl is hilarious, too, because he walks in on another girl, like, in a towel, basically, because she just got out of the shower, and he's like, hey, tell her that her date's ready.
And then when, like, the Willard C. Gainsborough's, like, confronting him, he's like, you better get up and give me my... Because, like, he's, like, sitting on his hat, basically. And then Jerry has to, like... put it back on his head because he's like making him put it back on his head, and then like it's just like so funny like how dumb it looks because like it's like squished down. He's like trying to adjust it and everything. He's like putting it down way too far. Like he looks so goofy, but
he
it's
just
like
keeps
so
on
funny.
twisting it
around
and around. That takes
he's
it off,
like,
and his hair's all messed up.
Oh
and he just
God.
starts combing it.
He's
He's like,
trying to like, fix
for
everything. Like, and, like he's like I don't know. He's like so funny how like more and more like freaked out. He's like taking off the lining, and then like I guess when the girl gets there, like when they're leaving, like the thing, the fucking like
the
linen,
strand keeps on coming.
Yeah, it's like it's super fucking long. Like
it's crazy how long he spends on this.
I like it.
No, I
like
this.
It's
like
a lot.
Like
because then the guy just ends up running away, like crying, basically.
Yeah. He's like, the tough guy is like basically like struck by this. It's so funny.
I don't know. I kind of like the George Raft scene more.
George Raft scene I also love.
The George Raft scene's good too.
Because I love Scarface. The Howard Hawks film. That's what they're referencing. That's what they're referencing.
I know, yeah. I went and looked it up, like, if he was a real guy.
Yeah.
If it was actually George Raft. Like,
yeah. Nah. It's obvious George Raft if you watch that movie. But, we see, like, then we see, he's like dusting things.
I like the painting where he's like he's like dusting the paint, that huge painting.
Oh yeah.
And you think that, like the red is part of the painting.
Yeah.
You thought when he wipes the painting,
it's like lipstick.
It's just like actual like real lipstick that was like applied. Like makes no sense.
Yeah. Nah. Yeah. And then like I forgot, he's like cleaning the elevator and gets like oil all over his hands, and then the Willard C. Gainsborough shows back up with a white suit.
Yes.
And he's like, no. He's like, no.
And they like trips and falls and you assume mud.
Oh my God. And then after that, Jerry Lewis is like, was it something I said? Like, he doesn't understand. Like, yeah, damn. And then this is when the George Raft scene comes out. He's like, oh, I'd recognize you from somewhere. And then he's like, why do you look so familiar? He's like, oh, do I recognize you from like the screen or something? He's like, I love movies, especially cops and robbers. And he's like, well, you must have seen one of my movies. He's like, because I'm always one of the robbers, like the crime doesn't pay. And basically, he's like saying I'm George Raft. And But he's like, he doesn't believe him, so he's like, prove it by telling me the name of the movie where you flip the coin. He's like, well, it's Scarface. He's like, well, and then Jerry, he like doesn't accept that. He's like,
that's an obvious one.
yeah, it's like, oh, yeah, of course, like anyone could say that.
Anyone knows.
He's like, prove it by flipping the coin.
Yeah.
Like, which is crazy.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Like imagine like going up to like some like actor or whatever like nowadays and like tell them to do that just to prove it. Like I don't even know like an example of that, but like.
Well, we actually have a video proof of you being a terrible coin flipper too.
Oh my god! Wait, video. Wait.
Remember when we were flipping the coin for the Thomas?
Was there a video? Was that a video?
Yeah, I've recorded it.
Oh my!
A fucking terrible ass coin flip, and he asked for. He's like, "Can I get a practice one?"
Yeah.
You did.
You identified.
You weren't watching the tape. You were watching the George Raft tape.
I mean, he doesn't do it well here.
No,
yeah,
George Raft was watching.
He's washed.
He's washed, I guess. Yeah.
Just like you.
Games past him, you know.
Do we have an actor now that is noticeable just for something like that?
Some like I don't know,
some random thing that you could make them do or try to make them do to prove it.
I don't even know.
The guy that plays Harvey Dent, I'd make him coin flip.
Okay, that's completely different. Completely different.
We need to start tracking how many times.
Got my Dark Knight reference.
Yeah, I was saying we gotta start tracking how many times Dany references the Dark Knight because it's getting ridiculous. Like, goddamn, every episode now. Like,
he's making it a point.
That one was relevant though.
Okay, anyway.
But then anyway, this is like a crazy cut too, where all the cuts like the wide shot and like because he's like, okay, I'll prove it with his dancing.
Yeah, because like, I do a lot of dancing in my films. Like, as well. Like,
he's like, I'll prove it like that.
Yeah.
And he's like, just trust me, dance with me. He's like begging him. He's like all of a sudden he's like begging Jerry. Like he wants his like approval for some reason.
Yeah. And then like the spotlight shines on. Yeah. Like the music starts playing. It's crazy.
And then like it's like a long dance scene too.
Yeah.
And then I love it because it stays wide the whole time, which is also something I love because it stays wide the whole time. And then we see the girl he's waiting for come at the very end.
Yeah.
He ditches him right away, and it's like a quick little shot of Jerry dancing by himself.
Yeah.
Just like,
he's like running around.
Dancing. Yeah.
It's great. Yeah. Then we see. I guess like he starts talking to the. I guess this is like not really a funny scene because it's like him talking to the actress.
Every
girl.
time we see this girl is basically like the meaning parts of the movie.
I guess like more the emotional parts. She's like depressed. And,
she's like she didn't get the part.
Yeah, and like Jerry's comforting her.
It's way better whenever you have those like the two clowns in a Katana movie just clowning the guy not getting the part rather than this heartfelt shit. So.
Damn.
Yeah, and then
you see the TV show.
Yeah, TV show happens.
Yes. I guess on your street or up your street.
Oh yeah, it's
also.
It's a funny thing too. Like it almost like it's like they're recording the set. Like it's like kind of has that like and like it's a weird like kind of meta.
That's why I like the dollhouse thing anyway in this movie because it allows you to do something like this where you can just literally show the set off.
Yeah,
it reminds me of some like Asteroid City stuff. Too.
No,
yes. But also
I
like the idea of. I always love where there's a camera behind a camera recording like some fake thing that's going on.
I mean, we saw this quite a bit in the last few weeks of Katano, so
Day for Night has some great shots like that.
Day for Night has amazing shots of this.
No, definitely, I mean, Wes Anderson had to love like this movie, right? Like I feel like it makes sense.
Yes, yeah.
Some like for the Dollhouse especially, but like, I mean that is literally his whole aesthetic as we talked about, but
it is.
I'm curious what he thinks about Jerry Lewis, but yeah. But then like basically Jerry he like walks down to like the empty set, and then like all of a sudden hears like them calling back to work, and then he gets like rushed, basically like land rushed by all the crew. Like this has to be some type of like Jerry calling from like his past experiences like working with crews, like how hectic it can be for sure.
Definitely. Interesting. Yeah, because it's like silent all of a sudden, just chaotic. Everyone on their break, like. And then we get like the microphone.
Yeah, the microphone test. Yeah, when he's like, "I'm okay," and like
and he like somehow blasted the guy under the couch, under the cushions.
That's when it's like it makes no sense, and you're
so
like,
funny.
How? Like you're trying to explain, it's like you literally can't. You can't.
That's one of the better jokes in the movie. I like this show.
This guy just comes out of the couch. It's like it can't be the same guy. I can't. It's like the same guy.
Yeah, and like Miss Wellmelon like starts to sit down for TV, but then like basically the joke is like Jerry keeps like butting in. Like very loudly, like, "Oh, we're on TV."
Also, this is my favorite shot of the wide dollhouse, where we get the lights turning on one by one of like each like section of the house, basically. There's like almost like or is like I think it's 4 quadrants.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And like we see the TV show starting to record, we see like each one like almost like light up.
Yeah, yeah.
I just like love that shot.
No, yeah. Damn, yeah.
I think it's like as they're still testing, so they're like testing lights or something. It's like right before the filming.
Yeah. Yeah, the filming's great too. Like
the well known.
Like yeah, like he keeps butting in. Like even when he like leaves like right beside her.
This is where he's like at his dumbest to me.
Yeah.
Where he's, like actually, I hate like there's like a fine line between watching a comedy like where he's like on his own wavelength, where other people see him as stupid, but he's still smart, versus like a guy just being stupid. You know, I don't know. It's like
I like
to me, he's just like being really stupid in this thing.
To me, he's just
like how does he not know?
To me, he's just wrecking shit for no reason
exactly.
in the scene.
I kind of like that though. Like especially like when he's like
annoying.
when he like goes in the background too of like the shot of her, like in the very background, like with like the balcony and stuff. Like, and then like immediately like they like jump to like the like they put on a little performance and like he's like in the performances too. It's like I guess
the
it's
performances are fun.
He has a lot of musical scenes. I've realized like he has like these like musical interludes a lot. Because in the Bellboy he has that one. He's not even in it either. It's like this like random like musical interlude that's also I really like in the Bellboy. I don't know if you remember it.
I mean, random musical interludes are really hit or miss for me. I love the randomness of them, but
you like musicals?
I love them. I mean, if only we could get a good one. I love them so much. I just see the potential.
Yeah,
we haven't got there yet.
Stop lying.
We haven't got there yet, he says.
Damn, that's crazy.
After 100 years.
I mean, to me, he's like a prequel, you know? He's like
anyway, I shouldn't even brought it up. Like, goddamn.
He should have.
No, but it's kind of funny, some of them, like, where he's like, where like dresses up as like these like medieval guy, and he's like,
the Paris one is not. He's completely out of that one too.
Yeah, and then like there's one where like they're like ballet dancers, and one gets like thrown in the air and gets stuck in midair. Like it's crazy. It's like funny because he's obviously like also like a pretty bad dancer in some of these, but like I don't know. It's kind of funny to see him just like wallop around basically. And then yeah, we see like I think like the ending, like the sound cuts out or whatever when he's like when they're like by the elevator, which is like explain the elevator.
He pulls the mic off.
He pulls the mic off. Yeah, and like it ends like just like with them like not speaking.
The show basically.
Yeah,
it's a good shot of like us watching the show on TV.
No, he has a lot. Yeah, the shots of the TV.
Yeah,
cool. Yeah. And yeah, I guess we see like more scenes of him like he's like playing the trombone with a lot of like the girls.
Basically helping.
Helping the girls. Yeah.
This is where we get his like dream sequence with the white.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah,
it's like
the vampire.
He's like fleeing scene or something.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain it. Like, yeah, it's just like this like random girl that's like a.
Well, it's the one room in the house he's not
like
allowed to enter.
She like enters like Spider-Man.
Yeah,
she's a vampire, Dany.
Is she?
Oh.
That's a classic vampire.
But I'm saying the way she's hanging upside down.
That's
and then she even puts her mask. She even pulls her mask like the way Peter Parker does.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like I wonder if Sam Raimi's watching this.
And then like the back wall opens up and it's like the skyline, the fake skyline too, with like all the blue and stuff. Yeah, this is like an insane shot.
Cool. No, I like this kind of the setting,
like artificial,
like all white.
And like the band that's playing in the background too. Yeah, I don't even know. Like yeah, it's crazy. Really with how white it is too, and then he just like walks out then, and like he's like, oh well, ma.
Well, what does he say before that?
What is it?
He says, "Boy, what imagination could do for you."
Oh, okay, yeah, he does say that.
So it's like, is this something that happened in his head?
Or is this all something that's happening in his head?
I mean, that's also yes.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's where the meta stuff comes in. Like,
yeah.
Especially like that's where you said earlier that I have the actor also being the director.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Katana. It was like he's like merging the whole thing. It was like
yeah.
All this is in the director's head in a way. You know? It's like not just when he enters the house, or when he enters this room. You know.
Yeah.
But also that's also the theme with the Asteroid City. Like once you get these kind of dollhouse aesthetics, like if your movie's not about that in some way, it just feels fake. You know, because like it should be like if you're just. It should be this idea of like everything is being created, you know, not just
pure.
No, like that's where like you're trying to create some kind of reality through like the falseness.
Like
of
you don't think it should be like some pure aesthetic.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's where it's just like aesthetic. Like, that's true with all aesthetics. You know, guess, like if it's just purely aesthetic, then I don't know. I mean, I guess to me it should be something deeper than that, but
no.
But then like also this is where I'm like I wish I've like read more about this or like what he's trying to do or maybe what other people reading especially this whole idea because like he says that's what imagination can do for you, and then he literally yells for Ma right after.
Yeah.
So like what like. And I kind of like the no explanation stuff, like always, but I haven't read enough about Jerry Lewis or anything.
Yeah, I can see. I do need to read as well more about him too. It's definitely there's definitely a lot of people who have interesting readings on him. But yeah, then we see like again he like tries to leave and then they chase him again, and then we get basically a scene of basically baby getting loose.
Yes.
And like Jerry's like freaking out.
But no one else is.
Yeah, I have no idea. Everyone's like going on with their day or whatever. Or actually, I think everyone's woken up trying to find it, but like he's like the one that's like obviously freaking out the most. And then like of course he's in the elevator, and then the maid's like, actually she's right behind you, and it's just like a little dog.
It's a cute ass dog.
Literally like the cutest dog in the world.
With a giant chain attached
yeah,
to it.
yeah. It's like it has like spikes on it. Like it's crazy.
He's like, that's baby.
No, yeah. No, it's funny how this immediately comes back to.
Yes.
Like, we're getting to the end here, but like, yeah, we get like the speech with the girl. Yeah.
Damn, not skipping over that.
It's not the
one?
greatest.
No, it's not a good part. Not a good part.
Don't you love a great ending?
I mean, it's like I don't mind the sentiment. Yeah, I don't know. It being a speech, I don't know about, but like I don't know about that. But like the sentiment, like.
But why her too? Like,
yeah, I mean, yeah.
She's the one that he wants.
Why?
Or I don't know.
The
Not he wants,
movie
but I
logic.
don't know.
He definitely wants her.
Or
Why
wants to
else
feel
would he be
needed.
helping her?
Just wants to feel
But he helps
needed.
all of them though. That's the whole
Not,
thing.
not more than her.
I don't know about that.
We get the longer scenes with her, so that's how you know we're supposed to care about her.
I mean,
more
that's
than
true
other
for the
ones,
movie.
so.
Yeah.
I don't know. It never supposed to be like. I don't know.
But she
They
asked,
get the
"Did you ever
heart
stop to
hearts.
think Herbert's being tired of needed all the time?" I don't know. Like maybe he's trying to do an inverse thing where like normally the secretary character is a woman or something.
Yeah.
You know. But and then you're like asking this question about the woman.
Yeah.
He's kind of flipping it, but I don't know. That's the only thing I could think of, like maybe, but
Yeah. No, like there's definitely people like I know there's people who love this movie that like hate think this scene's not good. The speech.
they don't like it.
Yeah. I think Felipe Hurtado like said like the speech is like Jerry Lewis has worse. I don't think he like loves the movie.
Well, I mean, yeah, especially all these like that's why it's like every time we see this her talking, it's basically like some kind of meaning making movie.
Yeah.
Film. Like it's trying to overly. Especially where I'm like, if there's interesting readings of this movie, it doesn't have to do with anything with this to me. Like anything what she's saying, but I don't know.
Yeah. But I mean, like the whole thing about him, I like the part where he's like running away, basically, like or like he's like trying to be like no one chases after him, and then, like I don't know, he kind of has that like he like says he likes to hear a lot, like and then the maid comes, and I guess it's the ending where like the maid's like, well, baby's gone loose again, and he's like, oh, it's fine, it's just a little one, just a little dog, it's all fine. He's like, baby, sweetheart, and then the lion just comes in right past him. That's like a live lion too, right?
It is.
Like goddamn.
It's not as good as the circus lion, but
I mean, you can't really
in the
compare
circus.
them. I mean,
But
I don't know how you can compare them. Like,
I just did. And one was way better. You compare to City Lights. That's all I'm saying.
anyway, we also get this like weird ending card where it's like, we wish to thank the United States Armed Forces.
Oh, I love
but
this
only
card.
if they
It's
came
so
to see
funny.
the picture.
That was one of the best jokes in the entire movie.
I didn't
right
really
there.
get it. I don't really get it.
Because every fucking person says we would love to thank the United States Armed Forces for their service just because it's a courtesy.
Oh, okay.
And so this is just fucking
Only if they
funny.
came to
only
see
if
the
they came to see it.
You're
Only if they
just
came
like
to see
everyone
it.
else.
Exactly. Like it's hilarious. It was one of the best jokes in the movie.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Yeah, like, it's just like so random too. It's like, wait, what the fuck? Like, damn. Yeah, that's the ladies.
What was? When was? What year was this?
1961.
When did Vietnam start? 61.
No, 69. Right?
69.
Yeah, it's probably
For
late
America?
60s. Yeah.
Okay. Were we in any war in the 60s? Okay. Early
Actually,
60s?
I was in mid 60s. Actually, was it?
I think so.
Maybe end. So, I don't know.
I remember because in Masculine Feminine, they're like, "U.S. go home." It's like 1966. The fact that I know that from a dark movie is crazy. From 1955 to 1975.
Okay, I thought it was long.
Yeah,
Damn.
Vietnam War, November 1st, 1955 to April 30th, 1975. So 20 years. I didn't realize it was that long. I don't know if it was like
I don't know when we got
maybe the
involved,
peak of it
but-
was like different. Like it like started, but it wasn't like super.
I don't know when America got involved in it.
I'm not a
but-
historian at all, but I mean,
Regardless.
yeah, that's the ladies' man, Jerry Lewis.
Combat troops sent into 1965. Marking full-scale U.S. involvement.
Okay.
U.S. withdrawal in 1973.
Okay, so they came in 1965. Got it. But yeah, that's Ladies Man. Next week
we're doing
Broken
we're
Blossom.
trying something new.
Yeah.
So we're trying to do a film essay.
With the film attached to it.
With the film attached to it. Just I don't know, just try something new.
Yeah, see how it goes.
Talk about the essay and then the film. So the essay we're doing is like we're doing I wanted to do Bazin. I decided as the first two essays we did.
Yeah.
I feel like we've actually talked about their kind of distinction too.
Yeah.
Throughout the series and stuff. And then also this kind of like Bazin idea of realism is also relevant to like Satyajit Ray's style of filmmaking and this kind of like era of filmmaking that started with the Ray's era.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna do his famous essay, The Ontology of the Photographic Image. It's really easy to find if you just Google it on.
Yeah.
Just Google it.
A lot of YouTube. I think there's YouTube videos about it too.
And YouTube, yes. It's a very popular essay. Also popular to like kind of think about while you guys read it too, think about what you disagree with it too.
Yeah.
It's a very controversial essay now in terms of like just so much film theory has come after it in terms of like this is a very basic text like to disagree with and agree with like all kind of when you study theory there's always like these basic texts. So but yeah, this is and then we're doing Broken Blossoms, another kind of blind spot for the
I've seen
podcast.
it.
Oh, I mean for the podcast.
Yeah, for the podcast. Yeah, but I mean, I don't remember much from it because I didn't really understand Griffith as much. I still don't really understand it as much, but I'm trying to.
Yeah, so we thought we'd do like the OG in a way of
Yeah.
So yeah, because Bazin doesn't have his own films,
Unfortunately, the tragedy.
It would have been crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, until next week, hope to see you floating through the clouds.